discussion.
Yeah. Sounds good.
That's the plan.
We can do it.
Perfect. All right. Okay, let me make sure I
Tax on household income above $1 million.
So how
Ferguson said he wants stronger affordability measures. Expanded tax credits and additional relief for small business.
Talk a little bit at the end about maybe tips to get your house ready to.
All right.
City of Port Angeles officials asking residents to weigh in on plans to replace the Lowell
Do I-
downtown.
Should I give you a company name or anything? Do you want to be?
Real estate market pros.
Okay, just with real. Okay.
Yep.
Nothing more than that.
News Radio KONP forecast.
But you're also
brought to you by
a builder on top
Olympic
of that,
Game
so,
Song.
right?
A mix of rain and
At
snow,
least the
possible
construction
at times.
Home builder, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I've got a duplex under
Oh,
construction in
really?
town
You're
right now.
actually
Yeah.
in process with something right now.
Yep. Not just on paper.
All right. Okay, let's do this thing.
Sounds good.
Time highs approaching 37 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Upper 30s Friday with a slight chance for mixed precipitation, changing to all rain. Turning warmer Saturday with highs in the mid 40s and scattered showers possible. Forecasting the snow tonight. That's a look at your forecast.
Okay, here we go. You can't hear anything right now.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
All right, welcome once again to the program. I'm going to spend the first half of the show today talking about real estate. Normally we have May Graves on to talk a bit about the markets and some numbers and things like that, but we're going to switch it up just a little bit. One of our colleagues, David James, joins us today, and we're going to talk about things you can do with your real estate to spiff it up, so to speak, make it a little bit more marketable. We always talk about some of the staging things and things to do, but this is actual hammers and nails sort of stuff. David works with the Real Estate Market Pros and is also a builder himself. In fact, he was just telling me you're in the midst of constructing a duplex, right?
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Todd.
Sure.
Pleasure to be here. Yeah, we're currently building a duplex here in town in Port Angeles, and working on several new projects as well. We're in the planning stage on as close to affordable housing as you can get on several projects.
Tell me a little bit about that. You're specifically trying to, I don't call it, it's not spec building really, but it kind of sort of is, only in a different vein.
Yeah, absolutely. We're working, a lot of the focus on those is affordable or entry-level housing. That's kind of the primary target of what Port Angeles needs right now.
I'll use the duplex as an example. There are some incentives to do some of that work in the city. Did you guys take advantage of that?
There is, absolutely, yeah. Port Angeles has a program right now where they are incentivizing multifamily properties. So if you take a single family lot and divide it through either a duplex or a lot division like that, they will waive permit fees, which can be $20,000 to $30,000 per house.
It's significant.
It is very significant.
I described this current project just so people kind of, you took was it an existing structure there already, or was it just raw land to start with?
Raw land, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, developing raw land, absolutely.
Okay. How long have you been into this, by the way? I should have asked you that from the first.
Real estate, I got my real estate license in 2017.
Yeah.
I've been working in the field since then. Construction has kind of overlapped to some degree since for close to 20 years now.
Okay, so one must have invited you into the other. You must have been building for a while. Thought, hey, this real estate thing might be something to do.
They definitely play off each other.
Yeah.
Real estate and construction are both obviously hand in hand. They are both very involved in the community, and it's kind of my calling in life. So. Yeah. Definitely fits.
I think there's some advantage too, though. You're building it and kind of on the selling and building side of it in both senses, almost turnkey, I guess, right?
It is. I think I think it's a huge advantage to our clients because I give a unique perspective that they wouldn't get through a lot of other realtors. I know houses inside and out. I've been part of it, part of construction from every phase, from digging a foundation to putting a roof on and everything in between. And so that really gives our clients a leg up.
Yeah, kind of a lot of been there, done that. You can share, right?
Very much, yeah. The stories we could tell.
From your perspective, though, someone who's building this, though, we hear this a lot, especially in Port Angeles, that there's no place to build, limited land, for example, things like that. What's your take on that?
Well, globally, it's true. They're not making any more land.
True.
And we're definitely landlocked here, up against a park on one side and the water on the other. So we have very limited land to build on, and it's going to take a lot of careful management and planning over the next couple decades or just going forward in general to kind of keep that growing at a sustainable and healthy pace.
So you're building a duplex, for example. There's been a lot of the push is multifamily here.
Yeah.
Still, a lot of people want a single family house, and that's kind of the
Absolutely.
the yin and the yang in this as well. So, is there room for both going on and going forward?
There is actually. There's a lot of room for both. I think multifamily has a really good spot in the construction landscape here. I think that single family also is ultimately going to always be desirable. One thing that we don't have a whole lot of here locally is any sort of like apartment building or larger scale multifamily, and that's where a lot of lower income or more affordable housing would come from. So that's something that hopefully as a community we work towards
From
changing.
your perspective, what would it take to get a developer to engage in that sort of construction?
Well, that's going to open a whole Pandora's box.
No, we didn't too much on the spot, but I mean, it has to pencil out. I mean, that's the main thing, right?
It is, and unfortunately, the cost to build right now is very near the cost of the resale value. And so just the increase in regulations, every time we increase efficiency in a house, while it's great, it causes a lot more cost to build. And ultimately that trickles down because, I mean, at the end of the day, you can only sell a house for what the market will pay, and no matter what it costs to build.
I'll go back to a previous question too, and specifically about building these larger scale apartment buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Is there land to do that around here too? That's kind of a fight as well, right?
It's a huge fight. There's very little land in Clallam County in general that is zoned appropriately for that.
Right. And space, even if you do find it in a zone, that it will work.
Exactly.
So, are we at a point, in your perspective, that this was to happen, people are going to either have to rehab or repurpose buildings that are already, maybe it was a commercial thing at one point, or even tear them down?
Yeah, that's something, there's been some discussions about changing some of our motels that are often vacant into low-income housing. So I think that's something that ultimately would benefit the community.
All right. You got any notion of getting into that kind of building or not?
We'll see what the future holds.
Never say never, right?
Never say never.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the perspective on things as well. I have to ask you, you're building this duplex. Probably, is it already, going to be spoken for? I mean, is it a quick sell or a quick turnaround in this case?
It'll go on the market here in about a month or two. We'll see.
And your feeling about it is?
They're basically entry-level houses, brand new construction, but in really nice shape and nice finishes. So
you'll sell that to somebody else who then will, you're going to sell that as a piece of real estate.
Yeah, it'll be two separate pieces of real estate.
Okay, so you're going to sell it. I'm going to say twice, but two things on that one spot. So
exactly.
Going to buy half of it.
Exactly.
Going to buy
and that's the goal of the city's program, is to increase density.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears now. Thanks for indulging me there and your take on how we develop these properties, especially in Port Angeles. But we also have you here to talk about people that might be thinking about putting their property on online. This is the time of year where people start to make a decision.
It is, absolutely. The market kind of wakes up from basically Valentine's Day on, so we're right at the perfect time of year to start thinking about putting your house on the market.
And I talk with May about this all the time when she's on. There are a lot of things people think they should do. They spend a lot of money doing it. It really is not worth doing.
Yeah.
Then there's some simple things that they don't do that they probably should be doing. So tell us I guess if I came to you and said, David, what do I do? What will make my house more appealing and perhaps sellable?
Absolutely. The quick, easy things are pretty basic. Pressure wash. We're in the Pacific Northwest and we get a lot of algae growth, and just a quick pressure wash to clean off driveways, sidewalks, things like that. It helps a ton. Properties definitely look neglected if they're full of algae and moss growth. So that's a quick, easy way. Another thing is just some basic staging. Put a wreath on the front door, put some nice plants or things like that around. A big thing is clean up, get your stuff out of there.
Almost a sparse look is the best look, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The people, a prospective buyer wants to see the house, not your stuff.
Right. or your local, all your pictures, all of those things need to be long
Yeah,
gone, right?
yeah.
But that said, what about painting walls and things like that? Give us some advice about that, because sometimes
Yeah.
you get into the spiff up, you think, well, we'll throw some paint on that wall, it needs it. But
Yeah.
be careful what you choose, right?
Exactly. Well, number one, if you're going to do that, be careful of choices, color choices. Make sure you choose something. We usually coach to put something neutral on that kind of will appeal to the masses. But also, you don't always need to paint. A majority of people, when they move, paint the interior of the house, or at least a few rooms, to kind of give it that personal touch and make it feel like home to them.
So what's your advice? Because you're dealing with a seller who says, boy, that thing looks terrible. I better
Yeah.
paint that.
Uh,
How do you talk somebody down from doing that?
Absolutely. Well, the best advice I can give is to give Mayor and I a call and let us come over and take a look.
Yeah.
And we can kind of walk you through that and case by case tell you what we think is the best course of action.
So sometimes a wall that might appear dirty or needing somebody had just scuffed or something like that, might be best to leave it alone.
Absolutely.
Because somebody else may come in there and say, yeah, I want to do something special with that.
Yeah, definitely. It completely depends on the situation. Sometimes cleaning up a wall will actually reveal more issues and open a can of worms. So
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
A list that May had sent over too had paint your front door as an idea.
yeah, surprisingly, front doors are one of the biggest things impact-wise that you can change on your house. Whether it's just changing out the front door entirely to something a little more appealing, or just painting it. Anything that will affect the curb appeal of the house is pretty big on the punch list of things to do.
Okay. She said charcoal or navy
Yeah,
are good choices.
they are.
Why so?
There's a statistic out there I saw that said a house with a black door will sell for something like 3% more than a house
Really?
without.
Really?
I haven't tested it. I don't see enough houses with black doors, I
I
guess.
don't have one.
Yeah.
So, but there's some advice. If you're thinking of selling your house, maybe go with a dark colored door.
It's something to consider, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Also, sometimes a really standout color like yellow, a bright yellow can be a good color for a front door too.
I guess psychologically it makes sense. It's kind of you have both a physical and a literal and virtual entry.
Yeah.
When you first thing you see. So
Yeah, exactly.
And then she also put on these notes here, maybe you might consider just buying a new door. So this might be one of those things that a bit of an investment would work. When would you suggest buying a new door?
Exactly. If you have one of those doors that's been kicked and punched and
Yeah.
beaten and banged
This is
into
one that if
for
it's scuffed
years,
up,
yeah.
not like the wall we were talking about, this
Yeah.
definitely is one you probably need to do something about.
It is.
Okay.
Front doors and garage doors too are really big on the hit list for.
That was my next on the list, the
Yeah.
garage door. So give us some advice on what works best for that.
Yeah, again, people love a nice insulated garage door. So if yours is kind of old and beat up, banged, maybe you've bumped into it with the car once or twice, consider maybe putting a new garage door on. Insulated garage doors definitely help sell houses.
Okay, so that's one of the ones where spending some bucks might get you back more.
It is. The problem is a lot of times in getting a house ready, you might spend, say, $10 getting the house ready, but you're only going to see 8 or 7 or something like that of it back. So there's a few places that you can put money, like front doors and garage doors, that will make a huge impact, and you should definitely get that money back.
So with that said, I'm going to throw this out there. It's a loaded question.
Yep.
People go nuts. I'm doing a new bathroom. That's not a good move, is it, necessarily?
Not necessarily. It depends on the situation. If you've got tile falling off the wall, it's probably a good
Okay.
thing. You'll get more money for the house
But,
in that case.
amazing, when we've talked about this, maybe not do an entire bathroom remodel.
Exactly.
Maybe just get it.
Yeah,
Back in
and that's
shape.
statistically, there's a lot of evidence that putting money into a house like that and doing a really nice bathroom remodel, even a really nice kitchen remodel, you're not going to get that money back.
You also run the risk of you're going to remodel it for you.
Exactly.
Right.
That's probably one of the bigger issues that we have is people will put a ton of money into a house to personalize it and make it their house, but then it doesn't appeal to any of the buyers.
Yeah. That's a tough thing. I mean, if you take a client through it, to get somebody, especially who's selling their house, to kind of think about letting go.
Exactly.
That not everybody's got your taste.
Exactly. Well, and we went through May and I went through a house recently. She's getting ready to sell, and she has just beautiful design choices, but she had quite a bit of stuff. And so before we did pictures, we had to ask her to take out a lot of that stuff. It was all very nice, but there's just a little bit too much. And When you're going through a house, walking through versus taking pictures and looking at it, it can be a lot different. And so you want to make sure that the picture looks clear and will appeal to the buyer.
Right. What I'm hearing you say, though, it's helpful to have a third person, a third party, whether it's your agent, somebody else with some just different eyes taking you through that walkthrough, right?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, definitely. You get, they call it, what is it, smell blind when you have dogs. A lot of times you don't smell the smell of the dog. It's a lot the same with your house. You get used to seeing things in a certain place and you don't notice that it's cluttered. So a lot of times we'll even coach clients to just take pictures and look at the pictures because it looks different in the picture than it does looking at it.
Right. There are also some things you do. I love this. May gave us a list. She's all about the bling.
Yep.
But there's a little bling you can do on your front door, for example. She said, like some new door numbers might be all you need.
Yeah, house numbers are huge.
Yeah.
Just any little thing like that, putting new mulch in your garden beds, or just making sure your yard is nicely mowed and manicured is exceptionally important for pictures.
And some of that is not terribly expensive to do.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's, hire somebody to mow the lawn and kind of weed a few garden beds, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
A couple $100 and you can get it done.
Definitely, and it makes a big impact.
Right. Also, a new mailbox.
New mailbox
Right.
is one. Yeah.
That seems interesting because I'm thinking, well, are they going to like my mailbox I picked or not?
Yeah.
Some advice. Exactly.
We actually have a house that is closing soon. That when we first walked into it, the mailbox had fallen off of the mail post. So. It's just very simple things like that. It's literally the first thing you see when you go to a house generally. It's the first thing you drive past, so making sure your mailbox looks good is an excellent first impression.
And in this day and age, you'd probably recommend somebody get a nice locking, secure mailbox, correct?
Exactly, something that you can slide the Amazon packages in. Yep.
Okay.
Definitely.
And make sure the post looks good too.
Yeah,
Don't just
absolutely.
put a nice new one good on a bad post.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't prop it up with cinder blocks. And yeah.
What is the? I love this one too. You mentioned a wreath or something, but a doormat might even be a wise investment. That $20.
Absolutely. Yeah, even $10 at Costco. I've seen some recently.
Right.
No, absolutely. It's it goes back to that curb appeal. Just anything you can do to make the front of the house look a little bit better will help help quite a bit.
All right, from your construction perspective, take us kind of through what your, I guess, usual suggestions are when you walk through it in a place that's going on the market.
Yeah, absolutely. The kind of the things that I'm looking for as I walk through a house is just the fit and finishes. We look at the caulking finishes. Has it cracked? Around the sinks or around the countertops. Is the paint chipping? Is there, has a dog been chewing on the door or on the trim? Just look for anything like that we need to address. That's kind of small things that are easy to repair, but will make a big impact and a big difference.
Okay. How do you help somebody through that? There could be some sticker shock. I think some people may think I'm going to put my house on the market and,
Yep.
How much is too much, I guess, is the question.
Well, and that's a issue we run into a lot, is that somebody will be getting ready to put their house on the market, but they don't necessarily have the liquid assets or the funds to make those repairs. And so there's a lot of things we can do about that. We can work it into the deal. We can tell the buyer we're going to offer you a credit to specifically address this. We can keep the price a little lower. Say the house has an original roof is in okay condition, but we know it's at the end of its lifespan. We can price the house a little bit lower to account for that and help hopefully get it sold.
Right. And those are some bigger ticket items.
They are,
roofs, things like that, obviously. In a go-go market, if it's an up market, things are selling quickly, a lot of people say, why do I bother with any of this?
Absolutely. Well, that's one thing is year over year, we've actually seen a little bit of a reduction in prices from last year. Last January to this January, prices, for example, in Sequim, last January the average sales price was about $580,000. This year, average sales price is only $549,000.
Oh, okay.
In Port Angeles, last year was about $475,000. This year we're only at about $425,000. So it could be there's any number of reasons for that, but the market is definitely a little bit softer right now than it has been. However, interest rates are lower right now than they've been in the past 3 or 4 years. hovering right around 6%, and so that's bringing a lot of buyers back into play that
So
hadn't
those numbers
been.
may start to switch again back. the other way,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Especially we get into the spring, summertime when markets tend to heat up a little bit.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
So, but what you're saying is, I mean, some of these small items that we just talked about could be the difference between tens of thousands of dollars in a sales price.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's hard to believe, but maybe a new mailbox and a doormat
Yeah.
could get you 10 grand more on your sale.
It's a funny thing to say, but very simple, small things like that absolutely can.
Right.
Making sure the staging in your house looks good. It's not
And
cluttered.
let's talk about staging too. I
Yeah.
know offer some of that. You have folks
We
that
do.
you work with, and how important that is. It's been a long time since I sold a house,
Yeah.
and staging wasn't even really a thing like it is now. It's almost to be expected, isn't it?
You know, I think personally, I believe that a house looks much better online, presents much better with staging in it.
Mm-hmm.
It just gives somebody a better canvas to paint the picture of what their life in the house would look like. It's hard sometimes to imagine if you have a house just full of everything, what your life would look in there, what your life would look like in there. And so I think it's a really good thing to just clear out that clutter
Yeah.
and make sure it's staged well.
What if you're still living in the house though? That's kind of a different thing. If I'm out, you can
That's
clean
one
it
thing,
up,
yeah.
put all different furniture in, do anything you want. But then there's,
Yeah.
most of us are still living in the place.
Absolutely. No, that's very fair, and that's a huge thing, a huge issue we run into a lot. What we advise in those cases is basically take out anything that you don't need to live. Imagine that you're moving, because that's what we're aiming to do, is get you out of the house and get you moving on to the next one.
Bare necessities, really.
Bare necessities,
Well,
yeah.
And keep the dishes clean. All of that
Exactly,
stuff, right?
exactly.
'Cause you never
Keep
know.
the sink empty and yep, the trash out.
Right.
Yep.
What are your feelings about the market right now? Just from your perspective about where we're at.
I'm pretty optimistic about the market right now. I think that even though the numbers show a little bit of a slide in our market locally, I think that this next year has a lot of promise. We're seeing a ton of houses come on the market now. We're seeing a lot more buyers come out of the woodwork, and I think we're going to have a good year.
All right. And you're going to sell a duplex probably pretty soon.
I sure hope so, yeah.
All right, David.
Absolutely.
Great to talk to you. Thanks for coming in and
Yeah.
pinch hitting with Maine.
Absolutely.
I don't know, don't tell me right there. You did pretty good. Yeah. Anyway, David James works with May Graves, who's our real estate pro with the Real Estate Market Professionals. And quick phone number.
360-912-3315.
And as we say, give them a call. No obligation, but they love chatting about things like staging and painting the door. And all that
Absolutely.
sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Thanks, David.
Thanks
Good
for having
talking to
me.
you. All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more on our show right after this.
The Todd Ortloff Show.
Look at that.